Hello. This reading is for my friends, but anyone's welcome to tag along. This one's called Bruce of Springtime. The train whistle reminded Bruce of just how cold the side of freight cars can be. He was having a nice dream, too, of acorns rolling down a dirt path and leading the way to the nearest ice cream parlor. No such place at this stop, however. Just a run-down hardware store featuring an empty parking lot. "How goes it, Krusty?" Germ rudely interrupted Bruce before he could make a decision on what to do next. "Ah, lucky one." He proceeded to examine Bruce's major joints. Every limb intact. I can't tell if I'm impressed or disappointed. Bruce growled at the hollow entertainment. "Do you work here or something? Go pester somebody else. I've got a meal to find." He shuffled aside his toothbrush to pull a notebook out of his bag, then huffed his heels towards a distant statue protruding from town. Pa," Germ insisted on stalling Bruce with a flick of his wing, brushing debris across the ground with his gale. "You want food, and I have a small social event that'll go over better if we go together." He pulled out a bright green brochure menu to the Click-Clack Diner and shoved it against Bruce's chest. As best a shove that a bird's wing could produce, that is. "I just ask that you follow my lead and not be crusty. Also, I've got your meal covered." Bruce hesitated for the most part, because he didn't want the day to go on too long, but it's a better bet than browsing if he's going to make it back before the next train leaves. The train whistle heaved again, ushering the two on their mission. The diner was smaller than he expected. Bruce had to suck in his gut to fit in the cramped seating. A waitress tended to their orders immediately, making a small gesture towards Bruce's new face. As she walked away, he pressed his thumbs together, reminded by his cravings that he ran out of cigarettes yesterday. "Hey man, don't be nervous. I promise this'll be easy to get through." Before Bruce could respond, a leather-clad paw smacked 6 snookles onto the table. I was supposed to trade these snacks to Steve, but he flaked." Gregg scooched in the booth across from Germ and company, divvying up the loot amongst the three. He kept his hands on the goods once stretched out to Bruce. "Who's the big guy? I mean, we're supposed to be talking business." He took his hand back, assuming he made his point, and stared at Germ. "This is Bruce. He's going to help us get things put together for the harvest." The waitress returned smelling of eggs, and Germ accepted the food with glee, waving her away as if everything is going according to plan. He spoke through a cheekful of hash browns. "He's graciously offered us up his backyard for us to arrange the horses." Gregg unzipped a pocket on his coat and pulled out a quarter to spin on the table. "I'm confused about how we're going to keep our design a secret." He pinned the quarter to the table with his index finger, putting his attention back on Germ. "I was under the impression that we were going to use your place." "Ha! Well." Germ almost choked on the subject he was avoiding. In a panic, he nudged Bruce with his elbow. Bruce cursed under his breath for getting involved with this idiot, but he was already chin deep in his omelet and felt obligated. I saw Germ here, struggling to drag what I assumed was trash past my place. Figured the poor guy could use a more convenient spot to make frequent trips to." He wasn't sure how many lies to pile in there, but Germ seemed to be nodding approvingly to each raw take. Gregg rested his hand under his chin. Okay, that next few raids for resources, though, are the stomping grounds of May's mother. He took his other hand and mimicked the wise woman's puffy hair and squinted. She a sucker for good mystery. How do you know she won't snoop around? Well, we'll just have to burn it then. Germ delivered his deadpan factoid as mushrooms slipped from his face. Gregg braced the table and heard, "You would." This is why we're friends, man. Everything is going to be fine. Germ patted himself down with a handful of napkins and shoved them in his pocket. Gregg took in a deep breath. This stress fuels my need to get out of this city even further. Has to be less of a headache. Bruce thought about his trip so far. Many cities, many leaders promising a better livelihood, better job positions, and better economies. It's still as cold outside as it ever was. Don't get your hopes up too high, kid. It'll be novel, all right, but that's where the ride ends. He read the silence at the table long enough to finish his plate. You should still do it. Just be ready to give hell to make it home. Bruce wondered if those words really left his mouth. Couldn't remember the last time he gave hell to do anything. That's enough excitement for one day. Germ left a tip on the table, gave thanks to Gregg for the snookel, and made his way back to the tracks. So Bruce, thanks for the save back there. I've got to get back home. Will I be seeing you around? Bruce turned his head towards the sound of the familiar train whistle. His original plan being to ride until he got caught. Wanted a fight. Bruce uttered while turning back to his new potential home. He put his hands in his pockets to keep warm, psyching himself up to give hell. I'm going to need a cigarette. That's it. That's the story. You can find that posted on the Archive of My Own page if you want to read it or copy it, repost it, blah, blah, blah. Either way, I'm done.